All right. What is up, YouTube? It is
Woo!
us.
Woo.
Yes, the pod that Jane likes. Here we are. Thank you so much for coming over here and tuning in. Hello also to our regular listeners, as we will be releasing this as a regular podcast. So if you do not tune into YouTube and you want to check it out, come on over. The water is warm. uh, uh, here we are. It's Matt, it's Jeanette, it's Shawn, it's Trisha. How's everybody doing tonight? We are right at the precipice of the beginning of the 2023 fall tour. How is everybody feeling?
I'm
Oh,
so excited. I can't believe it's
woo!
finally here.
I love a fall tour.
Me
Short
too.
and sweet.
Fall tour,
It seems
first time doing anything on YouTube. This is exciting.
Yeah, exciting
Yeah.
day.
it seems like just yesterday we left our heroes at the gorge, right? That was when we last heard from everybody.
Oh my God, that feels like 4 million years ago.
It was.
Gorge weekend does indeed feel like it was forever ago. Jeanette was there. It was, what did you say? It feels like it was more than, what are we in? We're in November. So it was like
Mhm.
2 months ago. Yeah, that might as well have been last year.
Might as well
at
be.
this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
It might as well been.
Yes, and I was at the gorge, but I am passing the baton to Trisha as she is in boots on the ground in Savannah right now as we speak.
Reporting live from Savannah. I smell a fall tour right around the corner. Very, very, very excited. Savannah is such a beautiful city. We're going to talk so much more about that in our segments, but really, really excited to be here.
Yeah, and as everybody knows, we are going to be us, meaning all of us, will be together at the final stop of the tour in New York City with the live Pod That Jane Likes pre-show event, which we'll
Woo, woo,
talk about a
woo.
bit more later on. Just a little teaser to get you to stick around a little bit towards the end when we talk about that a bit more. But yeah, we wanted to come on here. We thought that this was a great time to go live on YouTube to just get ourselves out there in the YouTube world for everybody. You can definitely expect more content as we go on YouTube. We're really excited about that. And so we wanted to talk today about all things fall tour. I know we all love a fall tour. This one is, I think, just long enough to call a tour. I don't know if you could even,
Right.
if it was just, if it was maybe 2 shows less. I don't know if you could call it a tour. Maybe just a couple little
Maybe a
little
week.
stops. But here we are at Fall Tour 2023, and to kick us off during our opener session, our opener section, which we're going to go into right now, we wanted to talk a bit about previous fall tours. So let's jump into it in the opener. So we know we love a fall tour. We know the band kind of loves a fall tour because they don't do them that often. Although I think years and years ago, it was a more common thing for a fall tour to be around. Shawn, do you have any further insight on my sort of hypothesis there that this was a more regular tradition back in yesteryear of DMB?
Yeah, so your hypothesis is pretty accurate, actually. DMB has been putting on fall tours dating back to 1994. So it's been a number of years that they've been putting on fall tours. 1998, I think, is arguably the most famous fall tour. Matt mentioned that this tour maybe just barely large enough to count as a fall tour. In comparison, the 1998 fall tour, 34 shows. So, just a whole nother animal in comparison to what we have right now.
Wow.
And then another
Absolutely.
note is the band, put on fall tours most years for a while. And then there were not any fall tours from 2006 to 2009. So there was a gap where we didn't get any sort of fall tour at all. Now, fast forward to 2023, in some ways, it's almost expected. These last couple tours, for example, we've got these fall tour announcements. And And we're going to jump into some of the venues that they're playing a little bit later. But I think that you should never take a fall tour for granted, because some of the places that the band plays in the fall, not exaggerating, are some of the most significant venues that they can possibly play anywhere. And they're venues that you can only really see them perform during a fall tour. So we're lucky that we have a fall tour. We're lucky that some of those venues are included. And we're really excited to get the fall tour underway.
What I love about a fall tour is an indoor venue. I think an arena show, there's nothing like an arena show, and there's nothing like an indoor crowd. The sound is always the most amazing. You can hear the crowd better. I always get super excited about a spring or a fall, specifically a fall tour, because of that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Shawn, it's interesting. I wanted to go back what you said about 1998 being such a red letter year in the history of DMB. I think that there are at least 3 or 4 live releases from 1998, and a couple of them being like very important ones. Live Tracks
Yeah.
1,
Yep.
live in Chicago. That was I think some of my favorite work that the band has ever done. I think there's also that DMB, what was it called? The live DMB Live, which wasn't Live Tracks, but I think there was like a Philadelphia show.
Yes.
Yeah, the
from
DMB
there as
Live
well.
series. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all if you take that entire tour, again, Matt pretty much nailed it. 5 releases from the 1998 fall tour, and it's a collection of official releases, which the end of the tour was with the United Center release. There's live tracks in there. Of course, Matt mentioned Live Tracks 1. There are shows that were released through the DMB Live series. So basically every avenue that the band has to release audio, they have pulled from the fall/winter, whatever you want to call it, 1998 tour, for good reason. I think, depending upon who you ask, 1998, one of the most significant years in the history of the band. But if you want to whittle it down even more finite than that, I think you focus on what the back end of the year looked like and what that fall tour looked like. Some absolute highlight moments, really, in the history of the band, condensed into one tour. Yep.
Bangers,
for sure.
Right? I mean, the band brought us Tim Reynolds on that tour. I think Butch Taylor sat out that tour, but they brought in Tim Reynolds, and that was, we're not talking now how Tim is always with the band. Tim was a guest, and he was out there the whole time. And it was, for 1998, it was a lot for a lot of people. It was the introduction to Tim Reynolds. Like, they had never seen him before. And on the electric, right? We might have heard by that point a lot of Dave and Tim, but a lot of people hadn't heard Tim on the electric with the band before. And it was a tour to be remembered for sure. It's one of my favorites.
Well, I can't wait to thank you for that information, because I can't wait to check out those live tracks, because truly, guys, I can remember the last 3 fall tours, but before that, I mean, come on. You can remember those things? No, I can't remember the tours from 98, but I will definitely check out those live tracks. That's great to know. Thank you.
Well, we mentioned on here, I've especially mentioned on here how much I love Live Tracks 1. I've told the story how I was supposed to go to that show, but like I was too young and my parents couldn't find a way to get me there. It was out in Worcester, which is like an hour away from where I live.
And your mom got you the t-shirt.
That she bought me the t-shirt. Yeah. But it's very, I think, apropos. We just got, I know some of us received our Before These Crowded Streets finals this week. 1998 was the, was a Before These Crowded Streets tour, right? Because we were, the album had released, and so it was sort of extended, very much like this year is sort of an extended Walk Around the Moon tour, if you will. It's very different, but obviously 8 shows versus, what did you say, Shawn, 37 or something like that? Pretty wild. But still very similar. And I think what we've seen from the band in the past is that, especially in sort of the more recent past, we see a fall tour when we see an album, right? We had, there are a few sort of exceptions to the rule, but in general, that's kind of what we've seen, is if there's an album, the band tours obviously extensively during the summer, but then we also do see, them come back in the fall, typically, the East Coast run, although, when we had that fall tour, which was the anomaly, right? Last year, there were all the West Coast dates ending at MSG. One of the things I wanted to do with everybody today, as is sort of our custom here at the pod that Jane likes, is to talk about our favorite fall tour moments in the past, because I think thinking about that, we can get ourselves even more excited for what's to come over the next week and a half for this fall tour. So Jeanette, can I start with you? What's your favorite fall tour memory?
Sure. I think that I'm not gonna say James Brown at MSG. I've probably overused that one.
You want to though.
I do. However, I am going to say we're back to 1998. I'm going to say Night 2, Madison Square Garden, 1998. It was my first time ever seeing the band in that room. Wasn't my first time in the room, but my first time seeing this band in that room. I was with essentially strangers that I had met on the internet. That and I didn't have a cell phone, and I somehow managed to find them, and with my ticket, and I sat with them, and we had the best time ever. And I was like, I can't believe I'm in this room seeing my favorite band. And they did "I'll Back You Up," and it was magical. It was magical to be at Madison Square Garden for that tour. I also saw them in Philly that tour, because I actually went to college down near Philadelphia, so I went to the Philly shows. And then I made another one of my college sorority sisters drive me up the turnpike and take me to MSG, and I met up with these random people and that I met on the internet, and we went to see Dave Matthews together at MSG. One of my favorite memories of seeing the band.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that takes us way back, right? I mean, that's as far as a fall tour memory goes. That's like, that's close to like the first time you saw the band. That's going way back.
And it was my fifth show because I had seen, I saw the band. That was my first year seeing the band that summer, and I became like addicted. And so by the end of the year, I had seen 5. So that was my last show of the tour. But that's what we did, right? We would just find ways to. I was so obsessed. I would just find ways to, even people I didn't know, I would find ways to go, and I got into Madison Square Garden.
Amazing.
Trisha, how about you?
Well, like I said, I can only remember the last 3 years, truly. And why not talk about kind of current DMB, because 98 is not the same band.
Totally
right?
fine. Yeah, totally fine.
That's a different time. 2021 with Matt, when Broken Things started playing, I just love Broken Things, and I'm going to talk about it. And when we talk about this fall tour, I hope that we get a lot of Away from the World. I feel like we got Drunken Soldier during the summer tour, but we didn't really get much else. Like, I don't know.
I feel like Away from the World is kind of a fall album.
Yeah,
so
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, I remember hearing "Stay" last year at Madison Square Garden on DMB radio. I was not at the show. And it was just so fun dancing in my living room that I hopped a flight. Like, I just thought that was like a moment that I wasn't even there for. So
who knew that "Stay" had that kind of power?
Right.
Well, they had a guest. I don't know who it was.
For granted, but
several guests, numerous.
Several guests.
There was a horn section for "Stay."
Yes, exactly. It was not a normal "Stay." It was a horn section "Stay," and I was like, "What the hell am I doing?"
It's okay that "Stay" has that effect on people. That's okay. That's a great song.
I mean, normal "Stay" doesn't, but a horn section does. And then just lastly, 2022 in Seattle, the guitarist from Pearl Jam came out.
Mike McCready. Yeah.
Mike McCready. Yeah.
For Watchtower, and I was like mesmerized. So I feel like there, even though the last couple fall tours have been small, there's always been like moments that I thought are just awesome. So those are my 3.
We'll allow it.
Okay.
Shawn, how about you?
So I think my pick would come from the 2018 fall tour. So again, a more recent one, but more specifically, I could kind of pick a specific run of that show that has been, I think, my fall tour standout moment. So we're talking about 2018 Madison Square Garden Night 2. It's a show that was actually webcasted as part of the DMB Drive series a few years later in 2020. But this show comes from 2018. this run of songs that I just remember being so blown away. Even going back and revisiting this show, it's a really incredible run of songs. 4 songs, kind of the back end of the set. Captain with Mark Whitfield.
Oh,
Crash
Ooh,
Into
yeah,
Me,
love
kind of a pretty standard Crash Into Me. Then they bring Warren out for an unreal Cortez, an unreal Tripping Billies, maybe a somewhat hot take. I think of everything. Okay, let's exclude Blue Water from this, but Billy's might be my favorite non-Cortez song that I could hear with Warren. He just nails it. So that little stretch, Captain with Mark, Crash Into Me, Cortez, Billy's, that little 4-song run, Madison Square Garden, mind blown.
good choices.
Yeah, really good choice.
What
love
about
it.
Matt's pick? I'm excited to hear his.
Well, I'm gonna go with like multiple picks, just like a couple of other people here, but I'm gonna give you one pick of something where I was in attendance and one where I was not. So I'll start with what I was not, which was listener supported. I think that
Mm.
listener supported, as far as a live album goes, is as good as it gets for DMB.
Yeah.
I wore out my multiple. I owned it on CD. I owned it on VHS. I owned it on DVD. I've watched on YouTube. Like, I have worn out every medium of consuming listener supported because I just think that it's so great. I think the set list is great. I think the band was on fire. There's just so much good stuff in there.
Amen.
And again, quintessential like late 90s winter tour DMB.
Was it a tour or was it a one-off show?
It was September, right? Like, so
September 11th.
It's an arena show though.
1999. Yeah.
We'll allow
it's
it.
an arena show.
I mean, all right, we'll allow it.
All right, we'll allow it.
That's
all
why
right.
I'm giving you another one. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So-
all right.
Next.
So 2010, I had gone to Wrigley also in early September, and the non-existent roof blew off the place when they closed night 2 with the last stop, full last stop, I might add. Okay.
Show people the shirt.
Look at here's my plea for full last stop to come back. But anyways,
It says bring back.
I digress. Bring back full last stop. Hashtag bring back full last stop. And so I had the ability to go to several of the fall winter tour shows that year. And the first show that I attended was on Long Island. It was my first trip to see the band on Long Island. And I was in the pit for one of the first times. And this is back when the pit was very undersold for whatever reason. Had plenty of room, was very excited to be there. And they opened with Last Stop, which was like amazing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and that whole 2010 was I have fond memories of that tour. I think it was a really fun tour. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with
That's a good one.
Opening with full Last Stop
Yes.
on Long Island, in Long Island, on Long Island, in the Woodlands, at the Woodlands.
On Long Island.
That's my pick.
Okay.
So that was fun. Thanks for doing that, guys. We would love to hear from you all who are watching this, you all who are listening to this, about what your favorite fall tour memories are. So hit us up, let us know. But now we want to go a little bit further and talk about 2023 in our jam session, where we're going to talk about a little bit of a preview of what's to come. So let's do it. Let's jam about it. All right. So
Minutes away.
Trisha is about to walk through
Actual minutes
the
away.
gates. Actual minutes
Minutes
away.
away from
Trisha's
lights
about to walk
down.
through the gates. Yeah. She is going to really have to scramble to get in there by the time the show
Yeah,
starts.
right.
I mean,
she
really
might not make
scramble.
it. Hope she makes it.
Hopefully she has time to get a beer and stop at the merch and document the merch for everybody who wants to see all the merch. And, we'll see. Hopefully she makes
We'll
it.
see.
But we thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about all of the stops that this band is going to make in the next week and a half. So let's do that. We're going to start in Savannah, which is where Trisha is right now, boots on the ground. Shawn, tell us a little bit about the band's history in Savannah. if you don't mind.
Well, if I was to talk about the band's full history in the city of Savannah, it would take approximately 3 seconds, because when the band takes the stage to kick off the 2023 fall tour, it will actually be the first DMB show in the city of Savannah. And the one little asterisk that I'll add in there is Dave and Tim performed at the Mercer Theater back in February of 1996. So there has been some presence in the city of Savannah, but in terms of a full band show taking place, this will be the first time that DMB has performed in the city of Savannah. And it's a new venue. We're talking about the End Market Arena, which opened back in 2022.
Brand new.
Yeah, we're not talking about an arena that has had a ton of history or a ton of shows. It's not like this is a stop that the band has just kind of missed over time. This is an arena that's been open for a little bit more than a year now. So it's kind of an exciting way to start off a tour, especially if you're going to start a tour not in the Northeast, to start a show or to start a tour and have such significance. And we had this a little bit last year where there were an awful lot of people, rightfully so, talking about the last time that the band was in Vancouver or the last time the band was in Seattle. It just doesn't happen very often. And here we have an instance where this is the band's first trip, first full band show in the city of Savannah.
Can we get a vibe check?
Trisha, you're going to be able to
Savannah,
eat off
Trisha?
the floor. You're going to be able to eat off the floor.
Eat off the floor. Yeah. Can we get a vibe check of Savannah itself right now? Like, what's the buzz? What's the buzz of
is
in
just,
Savannah?
I don't know if you've been here or you haven't, you know that you're just walking around and there's trees everywhere and it's all canopy and things hanging from the trees. You know, I don't know what it's called, but you know how pretty it is, right? It was old. We took a walk down the river. I mean, it's just a cool city, but it's not big enough to feel overwhelming. It's almost like it feels like sometimes it gives Nashville vibes, but like on a very, very, very small scale. Like there's bars everywhere and these strips and where music's playing and the vibes are good. And I think that that's so cool that this venue is so new and I can eat off the floor. That's great. And I think it's the smallest capacity venue of the tour with 9,500 people. I think the next is Mohegan in terms of the smallest, but that's exciting too. I love a small
very exciting
venue.
Yeah.
Can we play a trivia game really quickly, an impromptu trivia game?
Yes,
so
please.
I'm ready. I love trivia.
The venue's new, right? It's just over a year old. If I give a clue or two, I want to see if anybody could guess who the first band was to perform in this arena.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
So the venue opened in February of 2022. This show, so Cirque du Soleil was there earlier.
So Cirque
May.
really opened.
I was going to say.
I mean,
No, that we're gonna let's gloss over that.
Okay.
May 21st, 2022.
Okay.
The band who played the show in that venue to open the venue, if you will, for a concert.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are a Northeast band. They are. I'm gonna continue to make this more finite because I just don't think anybody's gonna get it. They're a Northeast band. They are from Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
I'm from Northeastern Pennsylvania. This band is from the heart of Northeast Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Keep
Keep going.
Tell them genre.
Alternative rock, I guess.
Like 90s
alternative rock
or
late 90s. The band
Hall & Oates.
formed. No, the band technically formed. Now I'm just quickly pulling up Wikipedia, but they formed in 1999, and they are listed as hard rock / post grunge. For whatever it's worth.
Like they're a little more than
Northeastern Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Growing up, this is a
I
band.
give up.
I like this band, but they would play at like local record shops around here. I'm talking like for 25 people.
Do they have any hits?
I don't think I know.
I wonder
who
if
this
I say
band
the
is, I
song. If I
Okay, go
say
ahead.
their
Yeah,
biggest
give me a
hit,
song.
I still don't know if you're going to get it. But I
Is that the name of the song?
think-
Oh, okay.
I think their biggest hit is a song called "Diary of Jane."
Diary of Jane.
Diary of Jane.
Not to be confused with the pod that Jane likes.
Right.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. That's a
Or
great
Jane
podcast that's out
Says.
there. That's not ours. Yeah.
Okay, so time's
I
up
know,
only for
but
the
I'm not
sake of
gonna
not
guess.
boring our listeners. But the band is
Yeah.
Breaking Benjamin.
Oh,
And they were very
okay.
I
much
have
like
heard
a
of Wrecking
local
Benjamin.
northeastern Pennsylvania band.
and they played an arena of 9,000 people
Yeah, so
in
they
2022.
technically
DMB
were the
We don't know if
first
big shoes to
9,000
fill.
band.
people showed up,
I
They
hope
were
they
the
can
first
do it.
band to play. The following week brought Erykah Badu and Ja Rule. So
Okay.
they're covering full
Oh,
Now you're
spectrum here.
speaking more my language.
see that I would have had. I would have had more of a chance to get that. If,
Yeah, me too. That would have
Yeah.
been more my speed.
That's your quick end market arena recap.
Okay, so
thank
this is the
you.
first real band that's going to be here since it's opened. That's amazing.
All right.
That is,
Let's
that
not
is
put down
not what
Ja
we're
Rule
saying.
like that,
That
Trisha.
is not at all what
Ja
we're
Rule
saying.
has a lot of hits. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a great transition to go to Greenville now. Let's talk about Greenville. Shawn, what can you tell us about Greenville?
So Greenville, South Carolina, the band will be performing at the Bon Secure Wellness Arena. Not a new arena. So polar opposite of what we were just talking about with Savannah. The arena is formally known as the Buy Low Center. So if you're a DMB fan, if you follow this band, it's somewhere that they stopped actually during the 2001 summer tour. And fun fact about that stop in 2001, JTR was released from that show on the DMB Live 25 release, which if you listen to this podcast, we rave about that release as many times as we can because it's so fantastic. So an unreal version, such a fantastic version of JTR came from this arena in Greenville. But it has been a long time since DMB has been there. So it's similar to the band finally making their way for a full band performance in Savannah. This is kind of them going back to Greenville for the first time and a unique but also exciting second stop of the tour.
Trisha, don't eat off the floor at Greenville.
Okay,
Yeah,
good to know.
don't.
Thank you. I will
Greenville's
also
seen
be
a lot
heading
of
to
shit.
Greenville.
Also be there.
I will also be there, and you might be like, "Wow, Trisha's going to all these shows," but like, there's like 8 shows. I mean, it's really this isn't
Right.
that
It's
crazy.
5 stops.
Right?
It's that's it.
Yeah.
5 stops, yeah. So I'm gonna do most, but yeah, excited to hit up Greenville. Definitely, if you don't and you're watching, we have an Instagram at Pod That Jane Likes, and I'm sure I'll be posting there on my Instagram. But definitely, if you're trying to follow the tour, we're probably gonna have boots on the ground most places this tour.
Yeah.
So super exciting.
And then, of course, after Greenville, things head north to Charlottesville, which I know everybody's excited about. There's been some cool announcements of additional things going on besides the shows around town. I think Miller's announced some shows that are happening around the weekend. I know there's some stuff going on at Blenheim Vineyards. Charlottesville is always a special place. Obviously holds such a big part of the DMB story. And everybody gets really excited because the band doesn't really play there that often, right, Shawn? I mean, obviously back in the day, in the Trax days, they were the house band at Trax for, however long. But, again, talking about modern history here, this is sort of a rarity for DMB to play Charlottesville, to play John Paul Jones Arena. So, Shawn, tell us a little bit more. What am I leaving out here about Charlottesville that we need to know?
Yeah, I don't think you're leaving out all that much. In the history of this band, you really can't confuse another city with carrying the same level of significance. Charlottesville, not to be overly dramatic, but is everything to this band.
Be dramatic.
They're a Charlottesville
be as
band.
dramatic as possible.
It's what they are, and in a lot of ways, for the scale to what this band has grown, the fact that they've been touring at such a rate for over 3 decades now, they certainly have never forgot their roots, whether that is performing shows in Charlottesville. They do an awful lot in that community still. Several of the band members own homes in Charlottesville. There's so many. I mean, we could easily have an entire episode on what you should be doing. Maybe we will do that, a guide to Charlottesville if you've never gone, because it's super important, super significant. But for the sake of this episode, we'll stick to John Paul Jones Arena because that's where the third stop in this tour is. It's an arena that opened back in 2006 To nobody's surprise, Dave Matthews Band opened the arena in 2006. This year will be the 12th and 13th DMB show at the arena. So similar to what Matt said, for a town that is so important to this band, they really haven't played there that many times. As a matter of fact, this is their first appearance at John Paul Jones since 2018. So you got to go way back to before the pandemic to the last time that the band was playing John Paul Jones Arena. So it's such an interesting stop. It's an enormous stop. I think when the fall tour announcement came out, John Paul Jones, Madison Square Garden, seemingly everybody was trying to incorporate those two because they're just such epic stops for this band. But this one's home. This is Charlottesville's Mecca for DMB.
My advice to anybody that is making the trek to Charlottesville is do all the things. Go to Blenheim, go to Miller's, go to the Pink Warehouse, go do all the things, because it's just it's magical to be there. It's where our band started. And go to Star Hill Brewery. I believe Corin Capshaw owns a brewery that's in
It's in the warehouse.
Yeah, it's in the warehouse. It's exactly. It's where music
actual
where
warehouse.
they are putting our tickets in that FedEx envelope. That's where the brewery is. So just
no, that's not true, is it?
Yeah, it's attached. That's the same building.
Stuff in our
that's where Music Today is.
Yeah, Star Hill is in the Pink Warehouse.
Wow, that's so nice. What a visual I have in my head. But I mean, so many people. Things. Yeah, so many of our listeners are going to Charlottesville. Have a great time. In addition to what Jeanette said, there is I feel like they understand it too, and there's like a Sanjay, the photographer, has a pop-up, and Joe Lauer's playing a show, and I just think that
go see that.
I think that they're playing having a couple extra things, so the mood should be magical, and safe travels, and hope that you have a great time there.
Absolutely, do all the things.
Also, shout out to Bohemia Bagel. It's a great little bagel shop down in Charlottesville.
Oh, I'm the only one that hasn't been to Charlottesville. Clearly.
Okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing this weekend. Taking Trisha to Charlottesville.
I know. All right.
I'll meet you there.
So after Charlottesville, there's the home stretch is Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut, inside a casino. I've never missed a Mohegan Sun show. I don't think I'm going to make it this year. We'll see. But I've never missed a show there.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We all said this. And
yeah.
I have faith.
I feel like
I don't know if anybody else
I don't know
in this pod does, but I have faith in Matt.
Mohegan Sun is a fun little place. A little city. It's a casino. It's a little city, a little town, whatever you want to call it. In the heart of Connecticut. Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods growing up in New England were huge because it was the only place that you could go to gamble. They opened probably like 25 years ago, maybe something like that. And everyone from the Boston area would go down there for the day, for the weekend, because you could go gamble and see a show and all of that kind of stuff. And DMB first came, I think it was 2012, Shawn. Am I right there? 2012.
Yeah, you're correct.
The Away from the World tour, which I saw. I know Trisha was there because I sold her my original warehouse tickets.
Oh my God, I remember.
Yeah, and like we were like sort of just like we didn't know each other that well, but we met.
We didn't know each other yet, right?
Yep. But we had. So I can't say that we had a good time together because we were there kind of separately, but we did see each other for a quick moment. And every show there, I think, has been phenomenal. All the ones that I've seen, there are a lot of highlights. Trisha and I always talk about when we were there together a couple of years ago. The band played a lot of rarities, Dive In, Broken Things, and then just this insane encore of I'll Back You Up and Lie in Our Graves to close out.
Yeah.
And I know you were there as well.
Yeah.
That was the first time we met.
Encores that I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's the first time I met. That also same thing. Like you were like, oh hi.
We didn't really know each other.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shawn, what else can you tell us about Mohegan Sun?
So I guess the highlight of Mohegan is the fact that Matt has not missed a show there. Similar to Guilford. Mohegan is the indoor Guilford, at least in my
The Guilford
mind.
of the West. The Guilford of the West.
It is Guilford with a roof on it. Kidding aside, Mohegan it's an arena that, as Matt mentioned, DMB first played in 2012. It is the midweek stop on this tour in between the Charlottesville weekend and the New York City weekend. And it's a fun stop. I like the way that if you're going to throw something in between those two epic stops in Charlottesville and New York, what better to do than make it a 2-night stand? So I really like the fact that this Mohegan stop is a 2-night stand. This year will mark the 5th and 6th performance for DMB in this arena. So not an awful lot of history, but it is something that they've played a few times. And as Matt mentioned, it's a show that he's never missed. So, no pressure, Matt, but there
have been a lot of highlights. And now that I'm thinking back to it, like there was a year, a fall tour that they played there. And like I saw Kill the King there. And I feel like 41 open, and there was like an early Stone. It was one of those shows that was just kind of going off the wall crazy. So I have very fond memories of Mohegan Sun. It's a fun venue. You get to take an escalator down to the pit if you've got pit tickets. That's kind of fun. That's all I have to say.
That is a true story.
That's true.
I did that
as
last
we
year, or
transition
2 years ago. Yeah.
As we transition to MSG, New York City, Bright Lights, Big City, Pod the Jane Likes opening for Dave Matthews Band.
Still the opener.
2 nights.
Still the opener.
Still the opener. We will have a ton to say about DMB in New York City at our live show before night 2. So we don't want to jump the shark too early here with
jump the shark.
We love that you're watching here, but
the first episode, our first YouTube episode, we're jumping the shark.
That's right.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. So why don't we give the MSG light, Shawn? Can you tell us how many shows and maybe 1 or 2 other little facts, and we'll save everything else for our live show.
Yeah, I think when I was thinking about Madison Square Garden, kind of along the lines of what you were saying, Matt, about we just kind of want to wet people's whistles here. And I thought back to Jeanette and I attending the listening party in New York.
Yeah, I'll say.
And how we said, we want to chat about the album. We don't want to give anything away.
Right.
Same thing with MSG. We're going to have an awful lot to say. We're going to be in New York City. If you don't know that by now, then this is probably the first time you've seen us because,
we haven't stopped talking about it.
We talk about it all the time. But New York City, Madison Square Garden, outside of Charlottesville, New York City is the most significant city in the history of this band for a number of reasons. The list of historical moments in New York City is off the charts. Just a couple of Madison Square Garden facts, though, heading into the start of this 2023 summer tour. DMB first played Madison Square Garden in October of 1996. And in, really just kind of getting after it right out of the gate, they kicked off Madison Square Garden with a 2-night stand. So no messing around, right to a 2-night stand. If you haven't heard that show, it was released through the DMB Live series, that 1996 release. So I'd recommend checking that out. This year marks the 23rd and 24th full band performances. And there have been Dave and Friends played there. There have been Dave solo performances there. So I'm not counting those, but in terms of just the band, 23rd, 24th performance. Last little tidbit, the 2 most played songs in all of those shows, number 41 and 2-Step, are tied with 12 performances each. So we'll see if that changes after the conclusion of the MSG weekend. But lots to say about MSG. That's a little sampler of what's ahead.
Wow.
And of course, our large hope for MSG is that it being the last stop, that the band brings back the entirety of the song, The Last Stop.
Hashtag bring back
the last stop. Thank you.
I bet you if I just walked in and saw Dave and said, "Bring back Full Last Stop," he'd be like, "What? I am playing the whole song." Like, I don't know. Do you think he knows? I think we had this conversation before. But do
Oh,
you think
he knows,
knows?
Trisha. He knows.
All right.
He knows.
I think
He
it's a
knows.
fair
For
question.
some reason, it was a decision. Like it was a for sure decision, and hopefully it's made right.
I mean, I hope he knows. Like, I hope he knows that that's probably one of the best pieces of music they've ever written, and why he would not play it, and like why he would make that choice. I don't.
Yeah.
Give the people.
And I hope he knows that it's the best one of the best pieces of music they've ever written as well.
I'll say whenever it comes back, similar to getting a third verse of Gray Street, you'll want to be there when it hits, because I would only hope that it's let's hope that it's this tour, and let's hope that it's an arena full of people that just kind of collectively lose their mind.
They're going to lose their mind.
I'm going to start to crowd
nervous.
surf. I'm going to start to crowd surf.
Yes, I will lift you up.
Oh my gosh! We'll have
I'll give you a boot. I'll give you the boost.
And this is why we have a YouTube account.
That's
so
right. So now you can see me practicing my crowd surfing.
That's right.
Oh my god!
Here on YouTube.
Well, we're heading into fall tour. Just a question for the group. Like, what are you most hoping for or looking forward to with these quick 8 shows? 8 shows? 5 shows?
Well, that was my answer. Crowd surfing to.
You want to crowd surf Full Last Stop?
Full Last Stop. There you go.
I mean,
Jeanette?
that's a hard one to top, because I kind of want to see that as well. I want to be there to boost, to give them the step up to get into the crowd. But I hope I hope for a lot of guests. I want more to come out. Maybe in Charlottesville, obviously John Durth will come out, but like, I don't know. Remember that year Trombone Shorty came out? Like, I want extras on stage. I want a horn section. I just want a bunch of extras on stage. I just love I love that. So give me a bunch of guests, please.
Okay. All right.
Local
I was
guests,
actually interested. I
whatever.
thought for sure that we would see, because what was it last year in Chicago? Dumpsta opened, right? Dumpsta Funk opened.
Right.
And we've seen them add openers for some of these big arena shows on recent fall tours. So I was actually surprised. I thought we would see at least one for either Charlottesville or MSG.
Yeah.
So
but we're the openers.
We can. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a sad day when they announce an opener.
I mean, they better get cracking on it if they're going to announce an opener.
Shawn?
We've talked about, we recapped the 2023 tour, and we talked about the fact that there were a number of songs, great songs, that got one performance during the summer tour. The list of songs that were played once, there are literally some of the best songs DMB has, things that come to mind. 40, Christmas Song, Last Stop, Dreaming Tree, Raven, Full to
I was going to
Thing,
throw my hat in for Raven. Yeah.
Joyride. All of these songs were played in 2023. And the list is much, much longer than that. I don't have a complete list in front of me, but all of those songs were played once during the summer tour. So I'm hoping we have a pretty quick fall tour ahead of us. I would love it if we got even 1 or 2 of those songs thrown back at us during this tour. Jeanette talked about it at the start of the episode, and I totally agree with this. Fall tour shows just sound different. They take place indoors. The venues are different. The rooms are different. They sound different. I would love to get some of those things that we got just once all summer long. I'll gladly take a few of those this upcoming fall tour.
I'll take something new too, like a surprise. I'll take like a Crazy Easy.
We love surprise. Oh well, if that's on the table, then I'll quickly change my vote. I'll immediately change my vote.
I wonder if we're gonna get like
now,
an American intro.
Oh,
I don't know. With an indoor, that might be a little crazy.
What about an American Baby? Just straight out, no intro.
Oh.
What I was going to say is, though, do you think that we'll hear any new music?
But I do hope you think so.
Oh, I was going to say no too, but I also
Oh.
would have said that we weren't going to get any new songs after all the Walk Around
Right.
the Moon songs were
That's
played,
true.
and then boom, Cha
And then
Cha.
Cha-Cha.
You know,
yeah.
so
I would like Cha-Cha to come back.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I'd love to hear
yes,
Cha-Cha.
love
Yeah.
Cha Cha.
Yeah. Well, my answer is the complete opposite of all of yours, and it's not going to be a well-received answer.
Okay.
There
Uh-oh.
we go.
That girl is you.
Yes, add it to the list. Listen, I think the world is
Or
like
don't.
shitty right now,
Yeah.
and we need some loving. And I want to hear like I'm in the mood for like a Can't Stop, a Shake Me Like a Monkey, a like Crash, maybe, Seven.
Crash is fine. Yeah. 7. Yeah.
I'd like for anybody watching on YouTube right now to pause right as Trisha was saying all of those songs and look at Jeanette's face and John's face and my face all at that time, because it was well
Oh my
worth the
God.
price.
I wasn't
of
like-
admission, which
I
was
wasn't hating on those songs.
free.
I mean, I didn't say that girl is
No,
you,
we
but
weren't
slide
hating.
it
It
in
was
there.
just real.
I was like, because I know the reception
Sure.
that it's gonna get.
I mean, I know you can't
If
compare
you'd like to hear
Can't
more
Stop to
about-
like Raven, but
Sure.
I hope.
If you'd
But
like to
I
hear
hope
more
that-
about our thoughts on Can't Stop or That Girl Is You, you can go back and listen to our
Yeah.
song debates on those songs, which are, I don't know the numbers of our episodes off the top of my head, but they're fun listens. So again, if you're seeing us for the first time on YouTube, welcome. Please find us wherever you get your podcasts. And
This
go
is
back
what
and
we
listen
look
to some of
like.
our other material. This is what we look like. Hi.
Strike a pose.
So we have one final segment, and we've touched a little bit on it, but we'll touch a little bit more on it in our segment we like to call "Where Are You Going?" So this is our segment where we like to talk about where we're going to see the Dave Matthews Band, or some iteration of the Dave Matthews Band, or whether we're not going to see Dave Matthews Band. But in this case, right here, right now, precipice of the fall tour, you're all about to hit your login to Facebook to go over to the D&B Couch Tour page to see what the band has in store for us. And we will, the Pod that Jane Likes, be quite present at much of, if not all of the of this little 8-show run for the fall tour. But the big thing for us is night 2 of New York City, Madison Square Garden. We will be hosting a pre-party / live show. The 4 of us, our buddy Ari from DMB Radio. We're going to be doing some fun stuff. We're going to be giving some great stuff away. Please come to see us. Please come get tickets. We are going to be at Hill Country Live, which is a very quick walk to Madison Square Garden, basically right around the corner in New York City. And we really hope that you come out and see us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to make it worth your while. We've got some fun stuff planned. As I said, we're going to be giving some stuff away. I may or may not have ordered some Bring Back Full Last Stop buttons that I'm going to hand out to everybody there. So
buttons.
that should be some incentive. So I'd love to see you all wearing those after the show. And something that I wanted to announce as well is we are going to have a bunch of exclusive Pod the Jane Like stickers. If you've been with us for a while, you know we love making stickers. We've released a bunch of stickers, and we're going to have a very special one that's only going to be available at the MSG party. Shawn did a bang-up job, as usual, designing this sticker, and we can't wait to get it in your hands. So please come out and see us. Guys, anybody else want to add to that sentiment?
Well, a lot of people bought tickets already, so don't sit back and be that person that has FOMO later. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And
Join the
also,
crowd.
like, it's only so big of a place, so it could sell
Yeah.
out. So if you don't buy
Yep.
your ticket, you might not have a chance to get one. So
Which
get
is
on
so
it.
exciting that we
know.
can
Look
even
at
say
us.
that. I know.
Look at us.
But
It's gonna be fun though. I mean,
it's gonna be fun.
it's-
Yeah.
Hill Country Live is also a barbecue restaurant, so there's food upstairs. There's a whole restaurant upstairs, and then downstairs is the room where we'll be at. There's gonna be a full bar. So we're gonna have some drinks with you. We're gonna have. It's gonna be a big old party, and
Big old
don't miss out.
party.
Yeah, and if you're not from New York City could be a bear, right? Like it's It's a lot of things, New York City. So why not just make it easy on yourself? We've got your pre-show covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
We'll help you
down
out.
to Madison Square Garden early. Take a really short walk, just a couple of blocks to come see us, hang out, have a drink, say hello. It's the last show. I mean, we've talked a lot about how incredible, really incredible 2023 has been. For a new album was
Incredible.
released, the summer tour, one of the best tours that this band has played in a decade. It's an unbelievable year. Now we're heading into the fall tour that's going to kind of wrap up and put a bow on this year. MSG Night 2 last full band show here in the States
stop.
of
Last time.
2023. So come say
Why not
hello,
do
have
it
a
with
drink,
us?
say hello,
Yeah.
do it with us, and then
Yeah.
head on over.
And then we'll all head
take
over
in
to the show together. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then after the show,
yeah.
Ari,
Come hang
is
out with us
having-
again.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
in. We're
come
going
hang
back.
out with
We're
us
going to go
again.
back there. Yeah.
If you're not
we're gonna
sick
go
of us,
back
come hang out
there.
with us
Come
again.
out with Jan. Ari's going to be DJing a set in the same room our party's in. And also Luis Cato will be doing a live show. So which if you remember, if anybody was at Madison Square Garden last year, he guested on Lie in Our Graves Night 1.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
And I believe Shawn, am I right in saying he is the musical leader of Stephen Colbert's band on No. That's not right.
Yeah, so
where am
I
I?
think
playing for us.
He's the Late Show band leader.
Yeah. Late Show. Yeah.
Late
Okay.
Show.
so
he's
he
the
is.
Late
So
Show
he's
band-
the
he
Late
is.
Show
Okay.
band leader, and he also you nailed it, Jeanette. He also was there at MSG. They brought him out for Graves, a really fun rendition of "Lie in Our Graves." And who knew? Fast forward a year later, he's going to be
do a live show. Yeah.
doing the DMB post show with Ari.
Right. And I mean that it's incredible live music after a night of live music. I mean, just keep the night going.
Who doesn't want to keep the party going?
Right.
Come hang
After
out
our
with us
Dead and Company
all night.
post parties over the summer, we had such a good time after the show. As much fun after the show as we did
Mhm.
at the show. So
It's a vibe. It's a
come
vibe.
see us. Come hang out. Come get yourself a Bring Back Full Ass Stop button. Come get yourself some stickers. Come
Who's the
see us.
sticker?
Enjoy the show. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and come and interact because there's going to be a debate, and I'm probably going to
Might be.
need support. So, because these boys can be brutal, you don't know. All right,
And you never know how I'm gonna go. I might
you
side with
don't
Trish, I
know.
might side with- you never know. But
So-
we're minutes to lights down. Minutes to lights down.
That's right.
Trisha has
Let's
to
pick
get
the
in the
opener right
arena.
now. Let's pick the
Oh,
opener
let's
right
pick the
now.
opener.
Shawn, what's your
Oh.
opener?
Well, if I want to win this, and we're going to go with a high probability pick, I'm going to say When the World Ends.
Oh,
You
Mm.
took mine. I'm going
oh
once we
my
work.
God,
Jeanette?
really? Okay.
Oh, Matt took mine. I'm pulling out of thin air. I'm going JTR.
Ooh.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm going.
Savannah.
Yeah, that's
Look
all
out,
right.
Savannah.
I'm going for. It was blue. It was
Walk around the moon.
red.
Okay. All right.
Walk around the moon. It's gonna open.
That's a good.
That's what
That
I'm
would be
going
a wonderful
for.
opener. That's not utilized enough. What a good opener.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Good opener.
So we'll
we
see.
thought for sure that was going to open in the Woodlands, at the Woodlands,
Yeah,
and
In the Woodlands, at the
it
Woodlands, and
didn't.
it did not. And
We
Bismarck
spent-
did
Album.
We spent
thought
that
it right.
whole day prepping for a Walk Around the Moon opener. We were practicing our
sure.
inhales, expecting that to be how the tour started. And guess what? It didn't happen.
And
But
then we
Bismarck
got
happened.
Bismarck
So,
instead, yeah.
certainly
Which
not
we like to
complaining.
take credit for. So
Certainly not complaining.
Now, one other thing that I wanted to mention really quick before we sign off is that next week we are going to be very pressed for time getting ready for our live show. So we're going to have a smaller episode than normal, which is not going to cover as much as it normally would cover. But stay tuned after MSG. We're going to do a huge follow-up
Full-on
show
recap.
to recap our show, to recap New York City, to recap the entire tour. So stick with us. But I do want to mention that next week will be a little
Next will be
tiny.
Tiny.
just a little episode you can put in your pocket.
little tiny. Dave's like,
Tiny
this is a
little
tiny
song.
little song.
Tiny
you
little
know?
song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tiny and yet huge.
The loving wings
Yeah.
of
Huge week.
podcasting.
Next week is our Loving Wings episode. Yep. All right.
So
Well, thanks
exciting.
again, guys, for
All
Yes.
right.
logging into YouTube, watching us, subscribing, telling your friends, sharing. If this is your first time again seeing us, thank you again so much. Please find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please find us on Instagram, on Facebook at Pod the Jane Likes.
Oh, buy merch. We're wearing fall tour merch. Me and Trisha.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all wearing some fall
Buy
tour
merch.
merch.
You can
Fall
find the
tour
links
merch.
on all of our social media pages.
Yep.
Trisha's got to go. Trisha's got to get in there. Lights
Bye.
down.
Oh, yeah.
I have a date.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the first song is starting. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Oh my
Well,
God. Okay, bye.
have a great show, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good
everybody.
fall tour. See you on the
Bye.
road.
Fall
See you on
tour.
the road.